Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 165 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 165 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you are here with us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for your continued support of the podcast. It really inspires me to keep going, and I just love connecting with you. So thank you, and I hope that you will continue to stay for a very long time. Before we get into this week's episode, I know I'm like a broken record, but it is really important to me to set the proper foundation for our episode and just for everything that we do in this space. The Well Done Life podcast is built on two very important foundations, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just like to make sure that you understand that I created this brand, this podcast, because I believe that women are the foundation of society. I believe that we need places and spaces where we can be our most authentic self. So this is the space where you can laugh, where you can cry, where you can learn, be inspired, supported, nurtured. This is our space, and I am so honored that you are here. And that leads me into my second foundation, and actually my favorite foundation, because I love love and I believe in love. And everything that we do in this space is going to be rooted in love. So I like to make sure that I send you prayers, because I believe that when two or more people come together in prayer, our prayers are magnified. And I really think that it's important that we actually pray for each other just a little bit more. We're all out here trying to do our very best. And, sometimes it gets hard in these streets. So I like to make sure that I'm sending you prayers every week. And one of the things that is just really important for me when I'm sending you prayers is that I just let you know how much you are loved and valued, because I don't think we are told that enough on a daily basis. And I think it's important that we learn how to show love to each other as women. This is not about competing. This is about supporting and encouraging, because I want to see us all win. So I just wanted to make sure I said that first. But before we kind of go too further, I want to make sure that I like I said, I set the foundation right. I start these prayers off right. And first and foremost, the most important prayer that I want to send you guys this week is the power in prayer of being able to release. When I mean release, I want you to be able to release things, people, places, situations that could possibly be holding you back from being the best version of yourself. See, you probably thought I was going to say your next level, and that could be tied into the best version of yourself, depending on what your goals and are aspiring for. But I want to talk to you guys about releasing. Today, I was scrolling because I like I told you guys, sometimes when I'm in between meetings with work, I scroll on Instagram. And of course, one of my favorite thought leaders, Alex L., was doing a kind of a slide of some things that she was releasing this month. And it instantly hit me that one of the things that I needed to focus on releasing was control. And when I say control, I've told you guys before, I'm like a recovering type A personality. So I'm used to being in control, and I'm not going to pretend I'm the boss in my house. I mean, yes, I have obviously my mom and my sister, the younger chick and the older lady, a part of the two chicks and old lady. So I have to run things, and I'm a boss. I mean, I'm a boss to the point that I told my mom at one point that Rick Ross should play when I walk through the house, because I'm that kind of boss. But I also had to learn how, as a part of being the boss, that I have to release. And when I say release in this situation, like I said, I'm talking about releasing people, places, things, situations, mindsets that are just limiting. And as I was mentioning, I was scrolling, and it instantly hit me today that I have to learn how to release control, because my control is limiting my trajectory, and my trajectory is limitless. And let me say that again. I am praying that you have the ability to have release in your life, because today I learned that I have to release control because my control is limiting and my trajectory is limitless. And I'm saying that because I have been in a season of limitless, like this past few days, actually. It has been sitting on me in so many different ways. I've manifested it in so many different places. I even saw it on my tea bag the other morning after having a conversation about what I would say to my 18-year-old self if I could say anything to her. And I mentioned that I would be limitless, that I am limitless. And it is like I'm in this season of discovering or being reminded, not necessarily discovering, that I am limitless. So I have to release control because my control only can see certain limits. And me wanting to have things executed based upon how I feel and what I think I should be doing is limiting me. And right now I'm in a season where God is pushing me to be limitless. Like I told you guys before in episode, I can't remember the exact episode number, because don't laugh, but the episode titled Tender. I'm tender right now. I'm flying close to the sun right now, and I'm going to get burned, but I'm okay because I can be tender and take care of myself and keep going. That's the type of limitless things that I'm doing. I'm really testing myself. And like I did something really big this week that you guys will hear more about very soon. I just want to make sure I finish mapping out the details, but I'm doing something next year that all of you guys will hopefully get a chance to take part of. If you want to, if you're able to come, I cannot wait to share it with you. But I put it on paper. I signed the agreement. I put the deposit down. I made it happen. And in that moment, when I did it, I stood outside and in front of the location, and I was just like, thank you, God, because I feel limitless. And so the only way that would have happened, or the only way that did happen, is because I released control. And in that moment, I didn't know how to articulate it, but today I found the words on September 7th to articulate it, that it is me learning how to release control. And so I want you to have a season of release as well, kicking it back to what we are focused on in this season right now, talking about being able to pray. But I want you to be able to pray for the ability to release, because there are things that are not just holding me back, but they could be holding you back as well. And sometimes it is really hard for us to want to release things because we want to hold on to them. We want to keep them because it feels good. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. But don't you know that you are not built to be comfortable? You are built to be exceptional. You are built to do great and abundant things, and you cannot do them if you stay in a season of comfort. Remember, we have talked about the mediocrity and the comfortability of being mediocre. This is not that season. This is a season of abundance. This is a season of infinite possibilities. So you have to decide what you are going to release so that you can welcome that type of energy into your life. And so I want to make sure that I am sending you prayers this week of being limitless and of releasing so that you can open the floodgates, open the levels of your life, and be blessed even further than what you are now. So I am sending you prayers of release. I am sending you prayers that you are able to sit down and discover what it is inside of you that you need to release, and that you also find the courage. And that is the second thing that I am praying for you this week as well, courage. You find the courage in yourself to trust that voice, that you find the courage in yourself to speak over yourself and speak to those things that don't align with where you are trying to go, and you are able to make changes, because it takes bravery. It takes courage to change course, to change plans, to let go of certain things that could be holding you back. But you have to know that if it is being convicted on you, if you are seeing it, if you are hearing it, you are feeling it in your spirit and praying to God, and God keeps showing you that you need to let go, that you need to release, then obviously there are things in your life that you need to stand in the courage of making those changes and move forward. So I am sending you prayers of release. I am sending you prayers of courage. And on top of that, I'm also sending you prayers of love, because I know that those things are not easy. And I know it is really easy for us to get down on ourselves, to be hard about things. I just want you to just be gentle with you. Remember, you're tender, and it's okay that you're tender. And it's okay that people around you may be tender too. Have empathy, show grace, be who you were called to be, but stand in your truth, stand in your courage, and be strong and release and move forward into your blessed season. So I'm going to actually stop my prayers there. Of course, I always will wish you all abundance. We talk about it all the time. But I feel like those three things that we just talked about kind of need to supersede abundance right now, because if you're doing those three things, you're naturally going to have abundance. So I am truly believing that that is already always part of the mix. But I wanted to talk with you guys about those three things because I have been convicted in my spirit about that. And it, like I said, I give a word, but that word is coming back to me as well. I'm ministering to you, but believe me, I'm ministering to me too, because remember, in this world done life journey, nobody's perfect. We're all just out here trying to do our best and live our most wonderful life possible, just doing what we can. So don't worry, you're not alone on the journey. But like I said, I am here. And I am recording on September 7th, and it is actually 10:03 p.m. right now, and I am really excited to be here. I want to thank you guys for your support of last week's episode 164, Brown Mama Bear with Shanera Williamson, and I hope you enjoyed that podcast. That podcast episode was for the mothers. Shanera is an amazing woman. As an empty nester, to just want to pour back into mothers, and especially Black and brown mothers, because I could only imagine what it must be like to raise a child in these times. And it's so challenging. And just to be able to have that support, we just need to create that community and support it. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that episode, and you don't have to be a mom to listen to that episode as well, because I'm not a mom, not in the natural sense, but definitely I feel like I am definitely a mom to my toddler mother and my younger sister. But they're my babies in my heart, and I'm like a brown mama bear with them too. So it's for all of us mama bears out here. So I will make sure, though, that I have the link to that episode in the show notes. But this week I have another guest for you. And her name is Celine Kheir, and she is an author, and we are talking about her journey to writing her book, How to Calm Your Mind. Again, with this season of release, it just seems like it's the perfect opportunity, this season of surrender and just trying to do all these things. It's like all the thoughts are coming through. So I'm really excited to talk with Celine, have her share her journey with you and how she got to write How to Calm Your Mind, the ultimate guide to overcoming overthinking, procrastination, and anxiety. Yes. And believe me, when we recorded that episode, I hit all of those things. It took like an act of Congress for us to get this episode recorded. Y'all have no idea. But obviously it was fated and it was intended. So I am very excited to share Celine with you. So if you would like to sit back, relax, grab a cup of water, grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of wine, whatever floats your boat, Celine will be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. I'm so grateful to be with Pamela today. I think we were guided to get in touch with each other. I'm so happy to be here and talk to everybody. And I hope we bring you so much clarity and so much tips and just share our stories with you guys. I think that it's very important these days to just share whatever we go through. Is the step to step into your purpose. I think is the first step is to share your experiences, what you're going through. And it's not all about the beauties or the successes or the celebration, but also what are you going through on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's what got me into finally making my dream come true of writing a book. And this book is How to Calm Your Mind, from the ultimate guide to overcome overthinking, procrastination, and anxiety. And I think it's a subject that relates to everybody. Everybody, that you're successful, you're not successful, you're a kid, you're an adult, you're going through college, whoever is going through these patterns. And I think just to talk about it, keep talking about it and sharing my story is going to help a lot of people. So it was published last month, and I'm already getting so many feedbacks of people that even, Pamela, they didn't even know what procrastination is, and they were going through it. And now they're realizing, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been going through. And these patterns are very common. And it's not something that you can overcome forever. We talked about this once, me and you. It's like saying to someone, you got to be thinking positive all your life. No, that's not possible. The life we live today, the society we're in today, it's on and off, on and off. So my goal was to kind of, okay, you're going to be aware, have awareness of what you're going through, and how can you try, instead of letting them control you for many hours, days, weeks, years, how can I get back on track and overcome them until they come back again?
Totally makes sense. Because I was going to say, I mean, obviously, like you said, it's a journey to it. It's not something that you all do all the time. None of us started out positive. I've gone through my seasons. It sounds like you have as well. Just kind of kicking it off, what was the point in your life where you decided, you know what, I need to become more mindful?
Yes.
Like, how did you decide to write this book?
Well, it's a whole journey. Like I don't even, till this day, I sit sometimes and I'm like, how did I get this done? But I think that's what we need to understand, is once we dive into focusing on our self-care, on ourself, and putting time in our day to really see, okay, what do I need? What do I want? Why am I here? And start asking ourselves these big questions. Once you start focusing on yourself, you won't even feel it, but you will be guided into, you'll have an idea, you'll start something, and then you think, okay, this is it. This is the thing I'm going to be doing, and you're going to get motivated about it. But then without even noticing, you're going to divert and go into another direction. What we have tendencies of doing is trying to resist and keep ourselves on that goal or that dream or that vision we have for ourselves in a year and a 2 and 3. But what I've experienced is that sometimes that's not what's best for you, and you gotta let go, and you gotta have faith that that God, that the universe, it knows what's best for you and will lead you into the path you need to take, and to learn to just let go. And I think that once I was on that spiritual journey, and I've been on it, and once you start, you never stop. I've been on it for over 4 years. And the thing is, you're going to get ups and downs. It's not always beautiful, right? But what we need to also understand, and the downtime you get, you're going to go through. I just went through 2 weeks of not wanting to do anything. I was feeling exhausted. We were just talking about this, me and Pamela, right before the recording, exhausted physically, mentally. And I have no idea why. I mean, everything is good in my life, but why? So once you understand that when that happens, you need to rest. We are so much on the go, 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 and we want to achieve everything that we have set on our list of things to do, that we exhaust ourselves. And working from that energy is not the best way to go.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And I can see how obviously your journey has led you to this point where it's like you have decided to shift your mindset and surrender to your faith. And that is such an act of courage. Was there one particular moment in your journey where you felt like, this is it, this is why I have to do it? Do you mind? Would you share something?
Oh, no. Of course. I think the more we share, the better it is. But how it started is that I was always a people pleaser. I was always wanting to care of everybody around me before me. And back then, I used to think that if I would put myself first, it's an act of selfishness. So it's like I'm taking away time away from taking care of someone else by putting myself first. So I kind of burnt out. I went through a lot of anxiety, and I was also an overthinker. Like everything would have to, my mind would never stop. That's why the title of How to Calm Your Mind was very important to me, because since I was 8 years old and it started. I would not sleep well. I would go to bed and my mind would start working for hours on hours. Then I would go, as I grew, uh, wanting to help others and please as others. For some reason, I was attracting the wrong people to come into my life and take advantage of my kindness and of my, good from coming from a good heart. But that's usually how it happens. And once you get further in your experiences, you start understanding why these things are coming to you. So I went through my journey. I got married and I was working and I have my kids and beautiful family, beautiful home. Everything was perfect. For someone on the outside sees it and thinks, wow, she has everything. But for some reason, there was that thing inside of me, something missing, that I was always like, okay, there's something missing. I don't know what it is, but something's off. And usually when that starts happening, it's because it's your calling. Something is telling you, okay, now you're ready and to change. But when you ignore it for a long period of time, what will happen is you are going to be faced with a circumstance. Something big can happen in your life. Sometimes you get a divorce. Sometimes you lose your job. Sometimes something will happen for you to crash completely and wake up and take that step that you need to take, which is to start focusing on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you cannot take care of anybody if you are not putting yourself first. When you love yourself, when you take care of yourself, when you have that love towards yourself, everything around you will you're going to put that out there and people will start feeling it without even you having to take something out of you to give to others. Your presence, your energy, your aura, your success, and we have tendencies of so I want to go back a little bit. So what happened is I started asking myself these questions, and I was thinking that my missing piece was because I always wanted to have something for myself. So start a business. I didn't want to be an employee anymore. And I was focused so much on hating kind of my job into starting something on my own. What I didn't realize is that you cannot start something new and be successful in it if you're hating everything around you.
Oh, absolutely.
Already there, you're not in a right mindset to start something. So I started a few things in the past. I started a few things, but what was happening is that I would be in a scarcity, in a fear, because I would start overthinking things and I would give up and then switch to something else. And then again, not succeeding, I would give up again. And then again and again. It happened 4 times until one day I slipped in my garage and I sprained my ankle really, really bad. And I was laying down for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And 2 weeks. Couldn't even put any weight on it. We thought it was broken. It wasn't broken, but for some reason, it was a sprain that wasn't healing. And I was forced to be by myself when everybody else kept going and having their activities. And so I was faced with myself. And I had something within me telling me now is the time to take a journal and start journaling. At the same time, I met Gabby Bernstein. I don't know if you know Gabby Bernstein, and she's my idol. And she kind of came at the right time. When we say divine timing, it was the right time to have her. I did all her courses, read all her books, everything within 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Read 7 books within 2 weeks. And I was obsessed by how easy it is we make it so complicated to understand that all you need to do really comes back to 2 things: love and compassion and putting yourself first. That's all you need to do. So she had told in one of her courses to start picking up a journal and just let your hand guide you and just start with one sentence. Pamela, I think within like 2 hours, I don't know how many pages. I don't know what was happening. I was crying and crying, and my hand was going and going and going and going and releasing and releasing and releasing, releasing. And that's at that time that I understood nothing will change as long as I don't change. Instead of looking for change on the outside, you got to start within you. The mind, body, and soul is another topic that I'm obsessed about. Once you understand that having that connection between the three and creating that balance, sometimes we focus on our health with the food we eat, exercising, everything. But what happens to your mental? Now, you can do as many exercises as you want, as many diets as you want. But if you're not taking care of your mental health, you won't see the results. They won't come. And then at the same time, that your soul is asking for you to pay attention to it. Be sure to always, any decision you take or anything you do, make sure you're doing it with passion. If the passion is not there, you need to let go or stop what you're doing, go to something else, come back to it. So all that to say, it started that way, and then I went into the spirituality, and then I started hiring coaches because I said, okay, I can do it on my own, but it will take many years until I can get where I wanted. I needed a coach to guide me and put me on the right path right away to get the results I was looking for. One coach led to another coach, and I still get coached today.
Okay.
And I will not stop because I see the evolution and how fast I'm growing. And then I remembered, I said, oh my God, I had a dream of writing a book from the age of 8. And I never thought it was possible. But then for some reason, you get that once you start focusing on yourself and on your needs, and it was hard. It was hard for me to tell my kids, my husband, everybody at home that mommy needs 25 minutes a day, 25 to 30 minutes a day, where you do not come close to me. Even if there's an emergency, daddy's at home, you go to him. Mommy needs that time to unwind and to focus on herself so I can take care of you guys. And the magic started happening. Once I started taking care of myself, I was a lot calmer. I wasn't that angry and screaming and losing my shit and going crazy. Like I was able to control my emotions and, just release. That half an hour was my time. It could be you going on a walk. It could be you going hiking. It could be taking a bath. For me, it was reading a book. So once I started doing that, I realized right away the shift in my family. My kids were happier. My husband was more attentive. Everything started shifting because the queen of the house, the head, the heart of the house was in a better mental state, physical state, and then that starts showing up in your family.
Yes.
So once I did all these this work on myself, I then realized what was the cycle, the negative cycle that was going on in my life over and over again. So it was overthinking. So anything that I wanted to pursue or that I did during the day or that I'm going to do after work was in here on a repeat stress cycle. Like I was thinking.
Right.
So if you want to take it in a business way, when you're thinking about starting something or you want to pursue something in your life, you want to go into your dreams, you're overthinking anything. Like you start with that fear, right? Like I can't do it. There's no way. I don't have experience. How am I going to do this? Look at all these people that have 100,000 followers. Who am I to come and start my life coaching business? Why would people listen to me? So what's happening now? You're putting all these things out there, but what you're not realizing is that you're not asking yourself, but is this true? Like, are all these things you're overthinking, all these things that are happening in your mind, are they all based on fact, on experiences, on people around you going through them?
Right.
Or is it your mind trying to, your ego, your mind is trying to keep you safe because this is the unknown, and now is telling you, no, you can't do this, or don't take this risk, or don't. So, but if you sit down and you put down all these fears on a piece of paper and you ask yourself, is it really true? Do I have a proof that this will happen? If
Right.
the answer is no, then just don't let it stay in here. Still take that step, because if you don't do it, what's going to happen? You're going to procrastinate. Now, your fears made you put a stop to what you are thinking of pursuing. You're
Correct.
like, you know what? No, I can't do this. I'm going to wait. It's not the right timing.
Yep.
I'll come back to it. That's always the scenario. And what happens now is that at the beginning, you had set deadlines for yourself. You said, I set a goal for in a month, I'm going to achieve this, or in a week, I'm going to do that. But then you're procrastinating. So what's happening? You're not hitting these deadlines. So what happens? You turn into anxiety. And that's when anxiety hits. And anxiety starts with stress. And stress, if you don't take care of it, stress is usually a couple of minutes to an hour, not more than that. It's like a shock happening to you, like a fight or flight. And when that happens and you don't take care of it, it turns into anxiety. So this is what the book is about, and how to overcome these things and to stop these patterns.
I have some questions, because to me, I felt like your book is a really good guide for people to kind of start to take the steps to address their overthinking and their anxiety. Because I agree. I definitely feel like we get more anxious as we take on more things, because you feel overwhelmed, and we're trying to be everything to everyone and not being enough to ourselves. And so I love how you break down, tackling overthinking and procrastinating and anxiety, like in steps. Like the book, guys, is very set up in stages to kind of help walk you through how you can get to the point where you are living this efficiently and being able to manage, because we're all going to keep going. There's no denying that we are. And that's not a bad thing. Let's be real. It's not, because that's how a lot of our visions take place. But I guess for you, as you were writing the book, what was one of the biggest things that you wanted people to know when they read this book, about how they could control their thoughts and their anxiety? So what was one of those things that you would want someone to take away from this book?
The biggest thing is to understand what's happening. So first, to recognize these patterns within your life. So my goal when I was writing this book is to bring awareness to someone that knows something is off, or knows they do anxiety, but where is this coming from? So I wanted to go to the deep. So what is the reason? What is the triggers? What is making you get into that state? First, to be aware of these things. And then once you are aware of these things, okay, so what are my symptoms? Because not everybody goes through the stages the same way. Not everybody has the same reaction to these patterns. So I did a lot of research, and I wanted to put as many symptoms as possible, signs as possible, so you can recognize which one is yours. And then once you know which one is you, that describes mostly what's happening in your life, now what can I do to stop it in its track? And now I'm not giving you one tool. I'm giving you over 10 or 15 tools for each one of them, plus worksheet, plus. So the way I wrote the book is as if I was coaching you for 3 months, charging you $5,000. But I'm giving you everything into one book with all the exercises, the worksheets. You get a journal of 85 pages to get your work done. Like by the time you start and you end this journal, you have a set of tools that as soon as these things start coming, because you don't want to get them once it's done and it happens. You want to be able to see the signs of, it's coming. It's coming now. I'm starting to overthink. Or, Oh no, that's a sign I'm procrastinating. And a lot of people will describe procrastination by being lazy. That's not true. Procrastination is not about being lazy. We need to understand, because a
Mhm.
lot of times we judge ourselves and we say, I'm such a lazy person. I cannot get anything done. I don't do anything about it. But no, it's not because you're lazy. It's other things. You're
Yeah.
afraid. Your mind is taking control of you. The
Mhm.
mind can be your enemy or can be your friend. There's two ways of looking at it.
Totally agree with that. And I was going to say, with that, I always am telling people one of the things that I've done on my journey is I learned how to speak to my fear. And I learned to speak to my fear based upon a book I read, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yes.
That was in her conversation with fear so that she could control her thoughts. Because I agree with you. I don't think people who procrastinate are lazy. I tend to procrastinate. But when I'm in that cycle, it's because I'm overwhelmed a lot of
Yes.
times and I'm afraid of what I'm doing. So I'm trying to manage that. What is one thing that you do personally to speak to your fear? Because you're obviously putting yourself out here and sharing your insight and your journey. What's one thing that you do to help speak to your
So,
fears?
well, for me, I learned that when something is scaring me, that's the something that I need to pursue to grow. Because those things, that's why a lot of us, we are stuck in that same thing all our life. And we look at others and we say, why, what does this person has more than me? I'm smart. I should be able to do this. But then the difference is that this person is going through it, is talking, like you said, talking to herself. It's okay. You don't understand the magic that happens. Like, I used to be afraid of doing lives back in the
Mhm.
days. I didn't want to be on the camera. I used to be afraid. And then one day I'm like, okay, if you don't do lives, you're not going to get to the next step in your business. You need to do lives. So
Right.
I told myself the night before, I said, you can be as afraid as you want tonight, but tomorrow morning, the first thing you're going to do after you take your coffee, you take the phone, you open it, and you do it. You just do it. And as soon as I opened and I was on camera and I started talking, I told myself, I can't believe I wasted 6 months for doing this. It's nothing. So it's really to take control of your mind. Don't let it control you. You have this amazing mind that will give you all kinds of things to use. You are up to choosing what's makes sense, what doesn't. And the
Yeah.
things that are scary, you say, thank you very much for your advice, but I'm still going to take that risk because I think it's worth it. And then you take that risk. And the other thing that I learned with procrastination is that I was looking 10 steps ahead. So
Yeah.
whatever I wanted to achieve was 10 steps ahead. And why I'm saying 10 steps ahead, even more than 10 steps ahead, it could be that you're telling yourself, okay, uh, tomorrow I'm working on my next 6 weeks content.
Right.
Okay. So now you wake up in the morning. Before you even wake up in the morning, you're there in your bed and you're like, oh my God, I have 6 weeks of content. I have to do the Canva. I have to write the content. I have to do research for my hashtags. I have to schedule all these posting. And so now you're stressing yourself. And what happens the next day? You wake up, "Oh, it's not the day. I'm not in the right energy. I'm not feeling good. I'm going to do it tomorrow for sure. Or I'm going to leave it for this weekend." What I learned is that, okay, I have 6 weeks of content to create. Now, how can I separate this on a week? So I
Yeah.
will tell myself, today I'm only working in Canva. Tomorrow, I'm only working writing content. The day after, I'm combining both together. The day after, so take tiny little step. As soon as you feel that overthinking, procrastination coming and it hits anxiety, know right away that you need to take whatever you're worried about and break it down as much as you can, because it's better for you to take 2 more weeks and do it in that beautiful energy of yours than doing it right away in that stress, burn yourself, and then you get exhausted at the end of the day.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you want to enjoy what you're doing. And it's okay to do one step in your business of half an hour today and then tomorrow work 3 hours. you'll know when you're in that state of, okay, I'm good. I'm just doing a little tiny step today. I'm ready for it. You would be surprised how much creativity will come to you. And that 20 minutes might turn into 5 hours. But if you start with stress, you will not even be able, that 20 minutes will turn into 5 hours, but nothing is getting done. So it's a lot of things like that I talk in the book of how, what tools you can take, and you choose your things, you choose which ones are good for you. A lot of people really like the easy thing of taking a deep breath, taking a deep breath for 4 seconds, holding it for four, letting it out for four times. So that thing you can do anywhere. You're at work, you're at the clinic, you're wherever you're at, you can do it, and nobody around you will realize you're doing it.
Very true. It's like a small regulation point, because I do agree, like when you regulate your body and your mind, everything kind of works in alignment. But I do think that, as a reformed people pleaser myself, it is very challenging for people to give themselves the permission to take things in small bites. And especially sometimes when we're working in our jobs, you don't feel like you can take things in small bites. Because I'm a firm believer, you have to eat the elephant one bite at a time, and you have to give yourself that time. How did you give yourself that time?
So what I started doing is every night I set myself a time where I knew, okay, this is not taking away from my family. After I fed them, I did the homework, got them into their shower, and then it was from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. It's mommy time, only me. And that's the thing. You need to create a new habits. You need to look at yourself and everything that's happening. You need to write down on a piece of paper everything you do in one day. And then if you can, do it on 7 days, and be very specific from morning till night what you're doing. And then you go back to it and you look, what is there on this list that is not a life death, like that I can take away from? At one point when I was doing my spiritual journey, I couldn't find that time at night because I didn't believe that it was okay for me to take that time at night. So I forced myself to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and I did it for 90 days. It's very hard, very hard. Okay, some days I could not handle it because I had people coming over. I couldn't go to bed at 9 o'clock, and I had to go at 11. But I said, no, you're doing this. You're doing it for 90 days because for me, 90 days was the perfect time for me to create a new habit. But honestly, 30 to 40 days is beautiful. So you go through your things you're doing and you set yourself, okay, this I can take out, this I can take out. Because what you need to do is, in order for you to see different results in your life, you need to change things in your habits, you cannot transform without wanting to let go of some things. You need to let go. You need to empty your cup a little bit so you can fill it with new things. So you do that. You start by analyzing your days and how it's going. And then you decide, okay, so in order to get there, I need to create this new habit. So for me, it was sitting down and journaling. And then I even ordered many journals where it was already a prompt journal where they self-perception journals, self-care journals, where they ask you the right questions so you can dig deep. You got to do the inwork. You got to do the inwork in order for you to see different things happening in your life. And I always say, surround yourself and, your social media, clean it up. Because whatever you consume is staying in your subconscious mind, and it's affecting you one way or another without even you noticing. So you need to make sure that whatever you're feeding your mind is the right thing you need to feed. So it could be a self-growth, a podcast like yours, Pamela. Listen to good podcasts where you learn new things. Make sure to follow people that you want to become. How are they doing it? Motivator. For me, it was a lot of reading books. So all that started like without even realizing, it's adding up. And then one day the bubble like it goes on, and it's like, Wow, that's amazing. So giving yourself time is very important. Gratitude is number one. Doing that exercise every single night of writing down 10 things you're grateful for. Eventually, what's going to happen is that gratitude is going to grow. And any time during the day, without even realizing, you're going to start being grateful for everything that's coming your way. So when things go wrong, your first reaction is not to be angry, but to be grateful for this turned out this way, but I'm so grateful it didn't turn that way. So you start shifting and you mentioned something that's very important is to give yourself permission. It is okay. It's better for you to take that step and failing than not taking it at all, because now you learned from that failure and you won't do it again. So you're going to take another step and then you might fail again, but that's okay. You learned even more than you just sitting there, not taking any risk or any chance in your life, and then eventually going back and blaming yourself because you didn't take those steps. So giving permission to make mistakes, it's okay. Forgiveness is the other thing that's very, very big. You need to forgive yourself about many things in your past, and we all have to forgive ourselves on a lot of things because we sometimes blame ourselves on things that we had no control over. It wasn't our fault. We need to let go of this. And the third thing that's very important is celebrating yourself. Every time you take that tiny step, celebrate yourself. Don't wait for your goal to be completed. It's one little thing at a time. Every little step you take at night or even with your surrounding or whoever you're comfortable with, celebrate yourself. Be proud of yourself, because that giving yourself that is much more valuable than waiting for someone to tell you you should be proud of yourself. When I wrote this book, I got so many messages. You should be proud of yourself. Of course, I'm proud of myself, but that was never me in the past. I would say, it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
We downsize everything, right?
We do.
Now it's like, no, I put a lot of hard work into this. I am super proud of myself. And even that if the book succeeds or doesn't succeed, I'm still proud of myself because I wrote that book.
Yes. And I think that is very powerful because again, it seems like all of this to me is about honoring who we are and who we want to be and realizing that we're the only ones holding ourselves back. Our thoughts, our limiting thoughts are what's holding us back. And like I said, I love how you have created this guide to help us understand like it all works together.
It all works together.
It all works together.
And the other thing that I want to mention before I forget. So once you're aware of what's going on within you, and then you're giving yourself the chance to step into your higher self and someone that's even like much. You need to understand that you are always guided. You always have that energy within you and around you, and you'll once you start that journey, you'll start seeing things that you may have not realized, but maybe after this podcast you're going to start seeing them. Let's say synchronicity.
Yes.
Right? There's certain animals or butterflies or angel feathers or things that will start showing up in your life, where you'll understand that those are all signs to let you know that you are not alone, that you're on the right path. And once you start getting into those numbers, let's say you see synchronicity, you see 222, 111, 333, Google them and see what messages come out there. Because trust me, once you start Googling these things, you'll see those beautiful things, messages coming to you, and you will start understanding that you are not alone. And we were talking about something also, I don't know, Pamela, if it was before or after the recording, about learning to let go.
Yes.
So if you are insisting on something, you are wanting this to happen, and it's not happening the way you want or in the timing that you are wanting, let it go. Just stop resisting. Let it go, because what's happening is that it might not be the best thing for you. There's something way better that's there for you that you are not seeing because you are so focused on that one thing. And it's so hard. It's not easy to do, because
No,
we
because
are
we want what
people,
we want when we want it. Yes.
and where we grew up to be controllers. We want to control everything. We want to control our life. We want to control our decisions. We want to, so to let go and have faith is very hard. But once you start practicing it, you'll understand that it's so much more peaceful for you. And that weight on your shoulder will go. And you know that whatever happens, it's not happening to you, but for you.
Yes, 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 yes. I love that. I love all of this. It's funny. This conversation, like I said, has kind of helped my anxiety that I had kind of going into the day, because it's been crazy. So I have like a couple of, like, as I kind of wrap up with you, I have a couple of random questions I like to ask, because I think, obviously you're doing amazing things. But folks sometimes are like, okay, I'm just really curious. I'm very curious about some things. I'm going to ask you a couple little rapid fire questions. Okay. So for 2023, do you have a word of 2023?
A word?
Yes, one word that would sum up where your passion. I can totally see that about you. Totally. Yes. Because the way that you speak so passionately about helping people find their control, I totally can see that for you.
And it's so beautiful that you've asked this question, Pamela, and keep asking this question to anybody that comes on your show, because I'm going to tell you one thing, and it's so funny you're asking this, because if you're looking to manifest anything in your life, anything, you need to first have that knowing, that feeling of, if you would get that thing that you're wishing for, how would you feel? So if you know that, okay, you're working towards a successful business, and if I make $100,000 by 6 months, I'll be very happy, and that's what I want. Okay, so what would that $100,000 feel for you? What's the emotion that you would have if you had that $100,000? And go from that feeling and live your life every single day based on that emotion, and things will miraculously happen in your life. For me, any goal I'm putting for myself, my emotion would be passion. So I'm living my life with passion every single day. Some days I'm not passionate, so I will just not show up, because I won't put you, whenever message I put out there, it needs to be authentic to myself. And my authenticity is to go forward with passion. So I can give you that also. This is a beautiful question. Thank you for asking.
Good. Thank you. No, I'm so glad. And like I said, I can see your passion. It radiates off of you. I hear it. So I definitely know that you give your all to this, your heart to it, and it's beautiful. My next question is, what is one thing that you did for yourself today that made you feel mindful?
Today?
Yep, just one thing. What's one thing you did today to help you feel mindful, to help calm you, to help prepare you?
What I did today is I went and I listened. I had because I'm also sick today. So I was sick. I had a lot to do today, and I was so tired. I took 20 minutes and I went on YouTube and I researched Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I said, I just want to listen to his voice. And that 20 minutes that I did listening to him, just like, it's as if I was plugged into a plug, and that energy just flew through me. And I came back and I continued my day. So see, Pamela, in the past, I would be like, oh, no, still go. Cause you're not making it. You can't stop for 20 minutes and listen to YouTube. Are you crazy? Now, no, I stopped for that 20 minutes. It energized me, and I was able to continue and go on with my life. So that's one thing I did.
I love that. And I love Wayne Dyer. I agree. His voice is magical. If no one's ever listened, like, you have to listen to him.
Yes.
You will feel like you can do anything after listening to Wayne Dyer. It's crazy, but it's beautiful that someone has that much authority and calmness in their voice. So I love that it was able to soothe you and motivate you, because yes, very motivational. That man, manifestation left and right. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. What is one thing that you would want my audience to know about you that you haven't said today?
I'm a very, how do we say this word? Empathic.
Empathetic.
So, um, yeah, I will feel you. I have a very, very strong intuition, and
Okay.
I feel like I want to save the world and I want to
Mhm.
impact everybody. And uh, sometimes I get like discouraged in a sense where
Mhm.
I know I can reach so many more, but
Right.
it's not going fast enough to me. But I
Mhm.
learned to understand that it's not about the time. We always look at time, but things could shift from one day to another without even you realizing it. So I know that this opportunity will come where one day I will stand on a stage and I will get my books everywhere in the world, and I will make an impact. And it's not even about the money. It's really to know that I was able to, with one word or one sentence or one presence, shift someone's life and transform it completely. Because all it takes sometimes it's just one word and it will make sense. So yeah, this would be my thing.
I love that. Yes, I can definitely understand because yes, I it's a journey when you feel like you have a purpose on your
Yeah.
life. It's a journey and just trying to give it out as quickly as you can. But yes, your time will definitely come. I can see that in you. And that is such a beautiful thing for you. So, ma'am, I'm going to put a link to the book, How to Calm Your Mind, the ultimate guide to overcoming overthinking, procrastination, and anxiety in the show notes. But what else are you working on, dear? Like, how else can we support you?
So I'm I'm also coaching full time. That's not
Okay.
a that's something that's, if someone wants to is ready, they know what they want, they can get there. I'm here for you. I can guide you. I can help you. But again, I say start with the book. I'm also working on being as much as possible on podcasts and spreading that word. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to in the future where I just want to keep promoting this book and maybe being on
Yeah.
stages and going to colleges and like really trying to hit that those people, because I've gotten so many feedback about people being at university and college going through that stress, and if I can help those people a lot, it would mean to me. So things that I can't guarantee you where I'm going, because I'm in a place where I'm like just letting go, and I
Love it.
tell God, just guide
Oh,
me, and trust that it's gonna happen. So I'm just going with the flow, and
I love it. Surrender to it. Surrender to the
yes,
mindfulness of
yes,
it all, you know? I love it. God definitely has a plan for you. So I appreciate you so much for, like I said, we had a time, y'all. We had a time getting this
yes.
started. But I feel like the delay was fine. And I feel like the conversation was beautiful. So I want to thank you for coming on. I would love to have you back and just
Of
continue to partner with
course.
you. So
Of
thank
course.
you.
I love it, Pamela. And thank you so much for having me. And I'm here for you anytime. And thank you for the listeners. And I hope you got some good information in here. And you can always message us, me and Pamela, and we'll be great. We'll help
Oh,
you any way we can.
absolutely. And I will make sure Celine's information is in the show notes. My information will be there as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this nourishing conversation and got some gems to kind of help you start your week. I hope you are having a wonderful Sunday and you will take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye bye, everyone.